All right, CNAs, what's going on in your world today? My name is Laura Williams. I am your CNA influencer and advocate. So today I'm bringing up a very, very serious concern that I've heard over the years from CNAs and I've witnessed as a nurse, even experienced as a caregiver myself, and that is workplace violence. Yes, that's right, workplace violence. Actually, statistics shows that 75% of workplace violence happens in healthcare settings. I think the biggest outcry that I've heard over the years from caregivers is this expectation to take it, to tolerate workplace violence. And I'm not talking about from our coworkers, I'm not talking about from our bosses, our supervisor. I'm speaking more from the perspective of the patients, your residents, those you are caring for, being violent towards you. Yes, you. And a lot of times you don't know what to do. There are some things that I've seen over the years on how CNAs respond and how they do not necessarily speak up for themselves. And we'll talk about it after we watch this video. If you've seen the video, you know that the caregiver seems to be making a meal, I assume for her and the resident. But throughout her attempt to do this, the resident is very aggressive to the point that she's spitting and throwing things on the caregiver. So, my first advocate advice for those who are keeping their loved one within the home, it's so important for you to ensure that your loved one is in the best place possible. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but just from experience being a nurse in the industry for roughly about 20 years, and starting out as a CNA, sometimes good intentions are just that. When you have a loved one who is not thriving socially, emotionally within the environment that you may have them in, it's important to reevaluate why, right? And is it for your comfort or is it benefiting your loved one, which ultimately will help your comfort, right? This young lady is in the video. The resident is spitting on her. She's throwing food, and many caregivers have cried out that that is normal in their workplace environment, and it this doesn't necessarily get physical, but there are times where the caregiver is being hit on, punched, kicked, to say the least, right? So let's go into some practical advice for caregivers who are actively experiencing this or maybe in a situation where this is happening. Number one, stop the task. The young lady throughout is continuing and attempting to try to get something done, and I get it. But right now, the priority is your safety, right? Your safety. The resident at this point is safe. She's walking. She doesn't seem like she's stumbling or in any unsafe situation. So your safety now is the priority. So you need to stop the task that you're attempting to complete and focus on removing anything and remove yourself, not abandon, right? She's in someone's home, but place yourself in a different position. Don't continue to put the task as a priority. Right now, it's not. Your safety is. To call your employer, communicate. And I suspect that this young lady did communicate because she doesn't look like social media would have been her first response. I'm assuming, and this is my assumption, again, my opinion, that she didn't feel like her voice was being heard. So this was the next thing to do, was to record. And for that, I say for the employers, we need to do better, right? We have to advocate for our caregivers. We have to take care of those who are taking the time. Yes, we get paid to do it, but that doesn't mean that we signed up for that part, right? So, and three, make sure that you are involved in providing those solutions, advocating for the resident and even for yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in into this episode of Laura, What Do I Do When? I look forward to hearing from you. Were you in a circumstance like this? And if so, how did your employer respond to the incident? Let me know, do you have any other questions that you would like me to answer? Until then, I'll see you in the next episode.